Hi there, Aminal fans. Welcome back to another episode of the Sitdown. Right now we're on episode 2. Today we have Chili Pengi joining us, as well as Hidden Doggo and a Spicy Habanero. Say hi, guys.
Hey,
Sup?
Hey guys.
All right, and to start off today's podcast, we actually have some pretty big news for all the Star Wars fans out there. Ubisoft tweeted out that they are working on an open world Star Wars game. Let's get your guys' thoughts.
I mean, do you want to go first, Habanero?
I'll go. I'll go first. I personally am excited because now it just like the biggest thing is that like now EA doesn't have the exclusive rights to Star Wars. I think that's the most important thing. Like Lucasfilm Games is like, all right, this is not working. Battlefront 1 and 2 were not that great, and we need to. And then they saw the success of the Fallen Order, and they're like, okay, we need to head in a different direction entirely with our franchise if we want to really delve into the space that is video gaming.
I feel like I definitely agree on that thought, Habanero. My only thing for Ubisoft getting the license is like you said at one time it was like EA Light, where it's like they're not as bad as EA, but they can be as bad as EA when it comes to like microtransactions, bugs, stuff like that, stuff that can really kill like the initial hype of a game and the initial like fanfare and excitement about it. What are your thoughts on it, Chili?
I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna have to sit down on this one.
Oh,
Oh,
all
very
right.
well.
What do you feel about open world habanero? Like, do you think that's like a
Well, it's obviously Ubisoft's like bread and butter. Like that's just what they do. Like look at the Assassin's Creed franchise, uh, Watchdog. Like just open world's kind of their thing. So I'm excited what they do with it from a storytelling perspective. I'm pretty sure we're just gonna get an Old Republic game because I don't know what else they would do with the open world game. You know what I mean?
I think it would probably be a cool idea if like if they do an AU like an alternate universe and like take the same characters but tell a completely different story and then have you be able to play through like episode 1 through 6 as like an RPG style character. So it would even be more like their Assassin's Creed franchise in a sense where like that's kind of what you do in Assassin's Creed.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool. But ultimately, what you would get from Ubisoft is probably episode 1.5, and then episode the other half, and then 2 would be like a DLC, but you wouldn't finish 2. That would be part of the sequels, and then they would just milk it for like 10 years before you get
You
like
get
a
to episode 6.
through episode 6. You know, when you don't need to do all that. But I would totally like an AU through episodes 1 and 6, where like Anakin is not Anakin, it's your character customized, and then your choices reflect like a Witcher style type of game, but for Star
Do you
Wars.
remember who made The Witcher? Like what company made Witcher?
CD Projekt Red. They're owned by Warner Brothers, so I really doubt they're gonna ever get the rights to a Star Wars game that's owned by Disney because they're just.
True.
Rival.
What about a From Software? That would be pretty cool, right?
From Software game would be perfect, especially what they did with the Jedi Fallen Order, where they like kind of copied like Sekiro-esque like mechanics from it, and like it would be cool. It just gameplay wise, I feel like it would fit pretty well with the Star Wars type of game.
What about what do you think, Chili? Like, have you finally stood up from the sit down?
No, I actually cannot get up. I can't move my legs.
I understand. I feel like if a Star Wars game were to be made, I definitely think the path that Jedi Fallen Order took is probably the right way if you want to do lightsaber combat. And I still to this day don't understand why they couldn't just reskin Battlefront 2, the original, and like just update it with new graphics, maybe some new gameplay elements. I thought it was perfect as was. And it still has a pretty big fan base to this day that like to play it online through PC.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I guess EA just doesn't like good ideas. They've set the bar pretty low to the point that you can get excited that Ubisoft has the rights to Star Wars games now, when really normally like you'd be like, oh.
Well, I actually
really?
think EA doesn't like paying attention. I think EA doesn't like finishing the games either.
Yeah.
Didn't you play Battlefront 2, Pengi?
Yeah, I did. I didn't like it. To me, it's just the same thing. Oh, wait, the original one or the
No.
or
Either.
the recent one? Oh,
Either.
the EA. Okay, yeah, no, I didn't like the E one. It was the same thing. I mean, didn't they release it first with only multiplayer, and then the story mode came after?
Yeah. The
Yeah,
first one I think is still just multiplayer. Or did they add in a campaign to that
I
one?
have no idea.
I'm pretty sure it's still
I just
just a
haven't touched
multiplayer.
it.
You played it for like 10
5
hours.
minutes.
Like, fuck
5
that.
minutes.
Yeah, there's like also like there's this stigma with EA games that you just don't even want to touch them sometimes because you're just like no thank you, I want to avoid that. And I think Disney's like Disney and Lucasfilm games are just looking at that and they're like, yeah, maybe we should move on from that. And say what you will like about the yearly release of Assassin's Creed, it at least
It's
the
a game.
people they're games, they're actual games, and people
Yeah.
play them.
You know, talking about Assassin's Creed. You know, I only played maybe I think I played Brotherhood. After I haven't played any
The
other one.
best one.
But
That was
like
the best one.
I look at the ones from before and I look at the ones now, like I've noticed that they ventured to like different like time periods, like ones with pirates, I believe. I think that's Black
Mhm.
Flag. And the
Yes.
most recent one
Oh,
is
yeah.
Valhalla? No. Yes? I want to say
Well,
Valhalla.
it's Vikings, but yeah.
Vikings, yes. So like I want to know what's gonna come next. Like what would you think would come next after Vikings? Like
Um,
Egypt?
well,
They already did
They already
Egypt.
did
Oh, they
Egypt. Like,
did? Oh,
at
okay.
this
They
point,
did
like
Egypt, Greece, Italy.
Assassin's Creed could really go anywhere with it. Like, it's to the point where they're like, you know, what if we took it to the future? And now they have the rights to Star Wars. They're like, okay, cool. Now we're gonna have Assassin's Creed Star Wars.
Oh, okay,
that's-
awesome.
That does sound actually pretty cool now that I think about it.
Yeah.
I
Space
feel like it would be
penguins.
really buggy though.
Yeah, but I feel like the story, like at least story wise, it'll I think be good. Now, gameplay wise, we'll see what happens there. Am I gonna have to do a million trailing missions as a
Those are your
Jedi?
favorites. Those are your
Probably.
And then instead of Eagle Vision, it's like Force Vision.
Like you know it's gonna be that.
It's like you can see trails of the Force. You have to follow them. I can see it so clearly now.
So keeping on with those type of games, then we also got news that Bethesda has an Indiana Jones game in the mix. So how do you guys feel about like now they're bringing back these old franchises, like these old movie franchises, and turning them into games again?
I feel like it's kind of milky. Like it feels like they're trying to pander a little bit to nostalgia, and then it's funny moving from Ubisoft, which is like the glitch bug empire, to Bethesda, also very well known for their glitches and bugs and exploits. So I go off.
I mean, I'm excited. Like, sorry to jump the gun on you there, but just because I can't contain myself, like, I feel like if done right, this could be the the next Uncharted. Like, this has like, because Indiana Jones is already like Uncharted with like the movie verse in terms of
Yeah.
like action fucking adventure movie. As like now Indiana Jones can bring what it brought to the movie theaters now to the gaming world. You know.
You know, I actually have an opinion on this as well. I would really hope that like the voice actor for the Indiana Jones, I would honestly, I mean, this might not be common ground, but I would really want it to be very nostalgic. I would really like, I
Harrison
would really
Ford?
like Harrison Ford. Yeah,
Bring back my boy.
bring back my boy, Mr. Ford. Like I think he would. I don't know. It's just to me like even when he passes, like if him to solidify him inside a video game with his voice, I just feel like it would keep his legacy like onward. I mean, he did
Yeah.
play, Star Wars characters, Indiana Jones. There's other movies as well, but like, put him in a game.
Make that shit slap.
Yeah, it would give the game for sure like a classic, like I'm watching the old movies again feel, which I would like. I would like if they like just banked on, like, sure you call it milking or whatever, but I feel like they double down and just bank on your whole nostalgia factor, and they don't give me don't give me a modern Indiana Jones. I don't want that. That's not what I want from Indiana Jones. You know?
I think. Sorry to cut you off,
You're good.
Habanero. I was just gonna say, I think that the Indiana Jones game from Bethesda. I was thinking that it's gonna be single player, like a single player RPG where you play as Indiana Jones, or do you think they'll do more like a story based, kind of taking you through the movies? Because like Bethesda's like kind of known for their RPGs, like Skyrim, like the Fallout series, like their bread and butter is RPG.
Yeah, you're right. You're not wrong about that. I don't want to see open world Indiana Jones game. I want to see a Tomb Raider kind of game. I want to see like like Uncharted kind of game, because I feel when I thought of Indiana Jones video game, I thought of Uncharted. I'm like, it's gonna be like Uncharted
Or
because
familiar,
Uncharted is already Indiana Jones. It's
Essentially,
already
yeah.
it's already Indiana Jones. You know what I mean? Like now it's actually the real one. You know,
the real one.
like not like, oh, we made him Nathan Drake because we don't have the right to Indiana Jones. Now like we have the right to Indiana Jones, and here's the video game.
Do you think it's gonna be exclusive to a console, or do you think they're gonna?
Maybe. Microsoft does own Bethesda now, so
Wow.
I don't know if if it is like in the future that's
Competitor
gonna.
to Uncharted.
Yep, it's competitive. That could be the whole reason, right? Why they're making this, right? Like Xbox obviously doesn't have like anything to compete with Uncharted for that type of game. Like they don't have their own exclusive of that genre. So like, okay, here we have Indiana Jones and we have more source material to work with because we're not. It doesn't have to be original, so we can just copy all the movies, make it into a video game.
Yeah,
And
and yet I still feel like somehow they might just drop the ball in like
Yeah.
the copying process. Or like, you know what I would hate to see? If it's like older Indiana Jones and like we get kind of the Crystal Skull scenario where we're like the new protagonist or like the new guy who's gonna take over the mantle of Indiana Jones and he's like teaching us the ropes and like you get to customize your character. I would not want something like that. But I feel like it's probably the route they're gonna take. They might just go open world with it.
Yeah, they could very well go open world with it. I don't see like I guess the novelty of it. Like I don't like what
I
can
don't-
you
I don't
really
see
do
it
with
either.
like what can you really do with an open world like Indiana Jones game? Oh, cool! It's the what is it, the '80s but open world or whatever? No, because
That's
Indiana
right.
Jones takes place like way before that. It takes place like after World War II, like just a little
Yeah.
after that.
And he's fighting
So-
Nazis and stuff.
Yeah.
Or like finding the Holy Grail and all that good shit.
So yeah, I don't. It would be much better as a story-driven, like on the rails kind of like game.
And so you think it is going to be Microsoft exclusive? Like I think it's going to be Microsoft exclusive.
I think it's going to be Microsoft exclusive too, just because they want to compete with having had to compete with the Uncharted series. Like for a while, you could just buy like a PS3 or PS4, and you're like, okay, I've got Uncharted with it now. Like I'm good.
Yeah, it came out with every single
Yeah.
PS console.
This is going to be like you buy an Xbox and like it's going to come with Indiana Jones. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Do you think they'll ever make one exclusive for like to compete with Bloodborne?
Like for like Dark Souls kind of esque things.
Yeah.
If Elden Ring doesn't end up that way, I could definitely see them doing their own thing with that. So the people who are making the Indiana Jones games from Bethesda are the same people who made the Wolfenstein games. So we can expect something around that realm.
That's interesting.
Well, I mean that's really good because it's the same time period almost.
Yeah, so they're kind of familiar with that kind of era.
All right. So we have our thoughts on that now. Another bit of big news that we got recently was Pokemon announced that they're doing Pokemon Snap 2, and
Jesus Christ.
and we did get
Go
a
off, Chili.
confirmation, like kind of leak about Diamond and Pearl remakes as well. So I'm throwing it over to Chili because this is definitely his field here.
So as an avid Pokemon player, I mean, I see people playing Pokemon Snap. I mean, you guys have to the original Pokemon Snap, just generalize taking pictures of Pokemon, which you could already do in the main series games. You guys have done it too, haven't you? I mean,
Yeah.
like, it's
Pokemon
pretty,
Go.
yeah,
Like
Pokemon Go.
2016.
Yeah, like it's ridiculous. So I want to know who or what cult was the following that was like, hey, yeah, let's harass Nintendo until they give us Pokemon Snap 2. Like it's just it's just honestly, bro, if you really want to take pictures of Pokemon, grab your phone and go outside and play Pokemon Go. It's a waste of development time. It's as Dogo would say here, it's a non-game. Don't you agree, Doge?
I 100% agree. I just think it's so fucking dumb. God damn, like it was novel back in like 1999 when it came out. I think it came out in 99, 98, 2000, somewhere around that time frame. It was novel. It was 3D Pokemon, which was cool. now we have Pokemon Go, and we've been able to take pictures of Pokemon since forever. But I really have this question to you, Chili, since you have a better pulse on the Pokemon, the Pokemon people or the Poke people, if you will.
The Pokey. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the Poke people. The Poke people. Like why? Like who out there actually was like harassing Game Freak to an extent? Like who do you think was out here lobbying for Pokemon Snap? Do you think
Honestly,
it was the hardcore fans, the cash?
no. It's obviously it's okay. So every game has its own cult group of people. Some people actually liked Pokemon Rose. Did I like Pokemon Rose? Hell no. Some
Wow.
people liked, Pokemon Stadium. I liked Pokemon Stadium. Would I want to remake? Yeah, that's what they could have done with all the new Pokemon. But then you go look over at those people who liked Pokemon Snap. It's like, what kind of fun do you have of taking pictures? Like,
You sick
I
fuck.
just like I don't see. I just don't see the call for it. What do you think, Habanero? Like, how do you feel about that?
So I'm gonna go up. So other games that they could have remade or made a new a sequel to, the Pokemon Coliseum series, the Mystery Dungeon series,
Oh,
hell, Pokemon Ranger.
Yeah.
Pokemon
What
Ranger.
else? Let's see what else we got here. Pokemon TV would have been more interesting than a Pokemon Snap 2. Like it's just.
Yeah, like how about that other game? With the Pikachu, the one they used to like yell into the Nintendo 64, like, "Oh, hey you Pikachu!" I could have had Pokemon Hey You Pikachu other than Pokemon Snap, and I would have been fine. But, like,
What's the
come on.
price point? What do you think is gonna be the price point on this game?
$60 game, easy.
It's probably 40 or 50.
But like who's gonna pay that? Like who's like what
That's
market
those
is
who
this?
followed the game.
The same people who all the Pokemon games are targeted towards children. They don't know what it is. All they see are Pokemon, and then they're like, "Mom, Dad, look, I want it." And then their parents don't know what they're buying, and then they're like, "Okay," and they buy it for them, and the kid just, it's just high definition Pokemon. Which, by the way, the Pokemon look better than they do in Sword and Shield, which is supposed to be a console game. So let's just get into that. Like, just Pokemon is right now, like, no one asked for Pokemon Snap 2. You know the people who asked for Pokemon Snap 2? The people inside Nintendo who are like, you know what? What's an easy way to make money without having to have any gameplay? How can we make a non-game to make money? There's someone's like,
redo Pokemon Snap, but with higher graphics and HD quality.
get this man a raise.
And add a bunch of new Pokemon. Who's gonna be our prize point Pokemon? Let's add the one that nobody likes. Which one is it? Meganium.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey! I know there's some Meganium apologists out there, right?
Yeah, they could cry and hide with the Bulbasaur apologists, right?
Exactly. You know what? All you Meganium lovers, my ice cubes will deal with you. But anyway.
Lol. That's right.
But that's again, I don't understand why people begged for it for years.
I can see IGN now. Pokemon Snap is a classic take on a beautiful old game. 8 out of 10.
It's got a little bit for everybody.
Could recommend. It's got a little bit for everybody. It's fun that the whole family can enjoy. 8 out of 10. Too many water levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just like, well, because Pokemon journalists don't want to actually play a game. They just want to review the game. They don't actually want to play a game. That's why Among Us, things of that nature are so popular and they get such high raves because they're not really games. You know what I mean?
Oh, spicy.
Question from my end, because last episode we talked about some of the top games, including how Hades was number 1 for the year. Among Us was number 1 on PC and mobile for most of the year. Why do you consider that a non-game though?
Doga, if you want to go first, and then we'll give them
I'll tell you.
2.
I'll tell you right now. It's a game where there's not a whole lot happening. You don't really do anything besides do these little tasks that take 5 seconds to complete. The entire point is just wait to be murdered, and it basically becomes you are sus, so thusly goodbye. It's like a board game without any real strategy behind it besides pure luck and being able to convince people that you're not it. That's all you got to do. You got to convince everyone else that you're not the killer. and everything else is really meaningless. Like there's no mechanics, there's no deep intricate storytelling. There's It's just a game where you and your friends can have a good time on. Like so it's like kind of just Discord party game sort of thing.
Yep.
I wouldn't
It's
say it's a non-game. I would say it's half a game.
That'd be a
I
good way
think-
of describing it.
I think Among Us is it's something to do while you're just hanging out with your friends. Like it's something to have in the foreground while you're just talking. You know,
Yeah.
it's but the gameplay again, like Doug said, like it's just you either just watching people because you're already dead, or trying to convince people that you're not the one killing people. Like it's just that's it.
Yeah,
Like,
it
there's-
is what it is.
There's nothing to it. Like I would like if you go on Twitch right now, like I couldn't like I wouldn't want to watch any of them like play Among Us because I don't care or know half of those people. The only thing that makes Among Us interesting is when like you get the high like famous Twitch streamers and YouTubers, you know, and they get in a lobby together. That's what people watch. That's the only reason people watch it because they want to see all these people interacting with each other. Like
I think
I
think
don't
the
when I'm
reason
like
it has-
enthralled by gameplay, you know?
I think the reason it has such a big market too is because like it's kind of a game that like it's such a non-game or half a game that like anyone can play it and enjoy it. Like you could literally put anyone who's a non-gamer, like your mom or your dad, and put them to play the game, and they'll have a pretty decent time because it's not about playing a game; it's a social interaction. That's the best way I could describe it. Anyone can play this game, and they will have a good to medium time. There's nothing to really be like, oh, it's too difficult for me. It's got too many things going on. It's way too complex. Like none of those issues that a lot of people face for coming into a game where they feel like there's too many mechanics, there's too much to learn, there's too in depth, the story is too weird, it's too out there. None of that really happens. You're just a bunch of people in suits in space that have to throw each other out.
Running around playing mini games and just trying to figure out who's killing who.
Yeah, it's Mario Party, but $5 and like less Mario Party.
It's
don't
Clu-
don't,
it's,
don't
it's
bastardize Mario Party.
it's Clue. Let's be honest. It's honestly it's Clue, but we can't play in person because of COVID. So it's Clue, but here on.
Yeah.
There you
on
go.
Tuesday.
That's the best way to put it. Yeah. I wanna hear-
Chili was about to square up right
You know,
now.
I don't want to hear you say
Talk
things
shit about Mario
the
Party.
other day.
There will be
Welcome
no
to
Mario
Mario
Party slander in this
Party.
house.
Chili cracks the belt.
So bringing it back to the topic that we were talking about earlier with Indiana Jones possibly being exclusive to Microsoft and everything, Nintendo Switch recently, or sorry, Nintendo in itself recently announced that they're gonna have exclusivity rights for the new Monster Hunter game, Monster Hunter Rise. What do you guys think about paying out companies for that exclusivity?
Well, so they didn't openly say it. So what happened was is that okay, Capcom had a
Unsolved.
huge breach, and within that breach, the data files were shown, and so Nintendo paid billions of dollars to have exclusivity for Monster Hunter Rise, which by the way, guys, comes out in March next month. No, not next month. 2 months.
Go get it. It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be great. So exclusivity till October for then the PC release to be. So how does that make you guys feel? Like how
Um,
like how
All right, so this is the only way Nintendo stays alive. Nintendo would die if not for exclusives. Without Legend of Zelda, without Pokemon, without Mario,
Smash.
without without those like exclusives, like they would be dead in the water because in terms of hardware, they get outperformed every single gen. So it's not in terms of hardware. You play it because they're the games you've played when you grow up. You play it because it's nostalgic. Like
It's also gimmicky.
that's it. Like that's all Nintendo is. It's gimmicky, and they can't make something new, so they just make something old new.
yeah, like in my opinion, I mean, again, like I play a lot of Pokemon and such, but honestly, I would rather play Monster Hunter on a PlayStation, on my PC. I wouldn't want to play Monster Hunter on my Switch. for the
I don't
exact
think the hardware. I don't think the hardware's strong enough.
Well,
Yeah.
the hardware is not strong enough, but then there is a new Switch coming out soon. It's gonna be like 4K high def, a bunch. It's blah. I haven't looked into it, but it was leaked. It has good, decent specs, better than this. It's like 20 times
It's
better than
like
this little thing.
the Switch Pro, right?
Yeah, like a Switch Pro.
Some crazy Switch that's gonna come out soon. Now, again, that's not coming out yet. That was just a leak. We haven't seen, an actual release date for it.
Gameplay.
Or like, yeah, exactly, actual
Release
gameplay.
date.
This is Monster Hunter Rise for the Switch we have right now. All right, I got Outer Worlds for my Switch. I don't even want to touch it because of how laggy is it. like,
Oh.
like I
Oh.
maybe half an hour and that's it.
The Switch is just the ports are all pretty much poor unless it was a game designed for the Switch. Like games that are designed for the Switch are just they're watered down. Like they're just watered down, and it's just like what are the like the highest selling games of the last 3 years for Nintendo are probably what Pokemon. Whenever
Pokemon,
Breath of Wi-
Mario.
yeah, Mario when Odyssey came out, and then
Yeah.
Animal
Breath of the
Crossing.
Wild and Animal Crossing now. And like, I can't play Animal Crossing on anything else except the Switch. Like,
Same for Breath of the Wild. Even though I will admit it looks amazing. It
Breath
looks
of the
pretty good.
Wild is a beautiful game. Breath of the Wild was actually probably Breath of the Wild is probably the Switch game that puts the Switch's actual like specs to the
Graphics?
highest, to the highest of its usage. Now, Breath of the Wild 2 comes out, so I hope they proceed to, better than
My only issue is I think so. I've played Monster Hunter regular, and I know Pengu has. Have you Habanero?
I have not,
you-
but I've seen like gameplay of it, and it looks like
Hectic.
it looks hectic, and it looks beautiful too. Like for a console game,
Oh,
like
it is.
graphically, it looks pretty nice.
It is.
It's eye candy while also having a bunch of things going on. You're fighting a giant Toboggadachi. You're fighting a bunch of a great Jagras. You're fighting all of those things at once, or they're interacting with each other as they do, and
Yeah.
and things are falling off of them. You could be throwing things. You could be in the middle of three different monsters,
Yeah.
and all hell could be breaking loose. I don't think the Switch is going to be able to do anything there. It's just going to be chugging FPS and dying.
I agree. I totally agree because the battles in Monster Hunter, which on video, if you're watching something online, it doesn't look like. But when you actually are playing the games, those battles are so dynamic, and there's so much things you have to be aware of, and so many things going on that like
And
even
timing.
timing, even the smallest amount of lag could murder
just
you.
kill you.
Example. What's the giant the B-52 stealth bomber?
B-52 stealth bomber, Beelzebub.
Yeah, yes, I think it is Beelzebub. Beelzebub, whatever. So that
I'll tell
monster.
you its name right now. I'm sitting down.
Yeah, go ahead. That monster, as you hit it, drops pieces of its scales, which explode instantly. Well, not instantly, but like after like maybe like 2 or 3 seconds.
Yeah, and
one-
they stay on there for
Like for a while. Running
they stay on
into
there
those
for a
things.
while. Yeah.
Running into one because of lag, insta kill. Actual insta kill. The Hector,
Well, not
that's
to mention all the crazy abilities that each of the monsters have, the uniquity of it all, the weapon. Depending on your weapons, you might have a more advanced weapon that has some effects or some particles.
yeah. Habanero. You've never like been interested in trying the games?
Oh, the Monster Hunter games for sure. But like now, I'm like less inclined to play like the new one that's gonna come
It's
out on
not-
the Switch because it's gonna be like it's gonna be neutered. It's gonna cut
No,
the
it is
ball
gonna be
off
neutered.
of it. Like
I'm
Basilgeus was the name of the monster, by the way.
Beelzegoose. Beelzegoose.
I call him Beelzebub.
Yeah. Honestly, I guess I'll just wait for the PC release. I mean, I could play the demo. I have the demo's out for the Switch. I can see how it runs, but
I think this is one of those games that you should definitely be on the lookout for. But first, watch gameplay and see how it performs before going whole hog and getting Devil Joe to buy it.
All right.
Yeah.
Switching topics now to our last topic. Speaking of big old monsters, we have Godzilla versus King Kong coming out soon. I believe in March. Are you guys excited for that movie?
oh
Yeah.
man,
They released they moved up the date for it. It was supposed to come out later this year, but I guess now HBO Max, since they are gonna drop the movie the same time as like a theatrical release, they're like, why wait? Especially with Netflix doing a new movie every week. And so HBO Max is like, you know what? We're gonna match that. We're gonna drop all our blockbuster films on HBO Max, and we're gonna just do. And you want Wonder Woman? Bam. We know what's next. Godzilla vs King Kong, and I'm stoked for it. I love my big kaiju monster fighting movies, and I can't wait. I think Godzilla's gonna win because he's huge. He's humongous, and King Kong just doesn't. It just doesn't
Doesn't have
match
the
up.
size for him.
He's got the size.
Well, yeah, I agree. He doesn't have the size. Well, did you know in the original, actually, King Kong is the one who won?
I did
Yeah,
not.
because of big brain.
Big brain and lightning monkey fists.
Yeah, versus yeah, those movies are actually wild. If you go and look up the original kaiju movies of like Godzilla, King of the Monsters, Godzilla versus Rodan, Godzilla versus
Space
Fiora,
Godzilla.
Space Godzilla, all those movies come out of a crack-fueled fever dream from the 1980s. That's
I
the
can
only way to describe it. Go
I can
ahead,
already
pick any
imagine.
movie. Like I think was it Mothra versus Godzilla where Mothra defeats Godzilla by having children sing to him or some bullshit.
I think so.
Crack addicted bullshit. That's where the Dropkick Godzilla meme comes from, or GIF comes from. It's
Well,
all
yeah.
a fever dream.
But that's what makes those movies so memorable. That's what makes those movies so memorable and nostalgic. Like you look at the movies like, wow, this quality is horrible. But once you sit there and start watching, you're like, this is actually kind of entertaining.
Well, I think everyone forgot how crack addicted and wacky these movies were, because all the new movies feel like these hyper sterile Hollywood projects versus like the absolute insanity that it is that Godzilla is able to just fly up and drop kick someone from like 30 miles away.
Hopefully
Or
that we have that in the
use
King Kong movie.
thunder fists to beat the shit out of Godzilla as King Kong, even though he has no electricity associated to him.
Yeah, that's
That was a like most movies are like, yeah, like sterile. They're just kind of like, we'll kind of vet this idea out, like let it simmer, and then we'll see if it translates well into the screen. Like these Godzilla movies, on the other hand, they're like, no, pen to paper and then paper to fucking screen. Like it's just roll it. We're just whatever we want to do, whatever idea comes out next, just throw it out there. I wouldn't be surprised if half those movies were just improv the day of while filming. Like,
yeah, they were like, "Hey, guy, can you do like a cartwheel or something?" Yeah, I can do a cartwheel in this rubber suit. Go for it. Go for it. We'll script it into the battle somehow.
yeah. Like let me see you drop kick Jet Jaguar, please. Just do it.
Yeah, like, and then everything was aliens in those movies too. Like aliens were controlling another kaiju, and then the kaijus would fight, and then they would have factions and sides depending on if they were with the Earth or with the aliens or with the like this force called like the radio force or like the radioactive force. So
Yeah,
like all this crazed bullshit that could only come out of 1980s fever dreams.
yeah. When was the last time we had a good Godzilla game?
Godzilla Unleashed was pretty fire for the
It
PS2.
was. The most recent one I think was just Godzilla, and that was for the PS4. I played it a little bit. It was pretty fun, but it didn't have the like grip on me that Monsters
Yeah,
Unleashed had.
it didn't let you drop kick Jet Jaguar from across the map.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's exactly what I was
Little
looking
garbage game. We need a game that just embraces that wackiness, and we need a movie that embraces that wackiness of just
Yeah,
King Kong
like,
just thunder fists. Why?
give me a fighting game.
Man.
Give me a fighting game that's the set, like the set of the Godzilla. Like you're on set, you're the person inside the suit. Obviously, it's not gonna look like that. You're gonna look like Godzilla, but like you're on the set. If you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you're like you're making the movie.
Yeah, exactly. Give me something like that. That genius game.
I think like that's just Yakuza. Like I feel like there's a mission in Yakuza that lets you do that. I feel like it's somewhere out there. I'm for sure positive I've seen it before.
All right,
So,
I'll remaster it.
how do you guys feel like this Godzilla versus Kong movie is going to come out? You think it's going to be like the first Godzilla movie where it's just kind of like the monsters
Boring
are?
telling me about Bill Cranston all the time.
Well, Bryan Cranston dies in this opening scene of that movie, but go off. The movie's about
Like his son. Like
Yeah,
it's
it's about
like Bryan Cranston's son and telling me all about like how he dies and shit. Like I don't care about. Well, I love Bryan Cranston as himself, but I don't care about.
So you want you want Godzilla 2, King of the Monsters? Then that's what you
I
want.
want to see mindless violence.
You want
I can't
kaiju?
do- Yes. I love
Yeah, I'm
Game
hoping.
One.
I'm hoping for that too. Well, I did like Skull Island though. Like I thought it was good.
Oh, yeah.
But if we're gonna build this as Godzilla versus Kong, I just I want it to be like The Hobbit and the Five Armies, where the movie is just 2 hours straight of just fucking violence.
How
Yeah.
good in the five
You know, King of the Monsters did start strong with its villain being King Ghidorah. That was a strong pick to start with. I mean, they could have started with something babyish. I mean, they could have went. Let's see.
Rodan.
Well, yeah, they could have did Rodan. Well, no, Rodan was in the movie already.
They could have done in which one?
The armadillo one. I forgot his name. Anguirus. They could have started with Anguirus. They could have did Gigan. No. Right off the bat, give Godzilla his arch nemesis. Give me King Ghidorah. Give it to me now. Which was very ballsy, but I honestly think that movie came out well.
I would love to see Space Godzilla come down from the heavens in the middle of of Godzilla versus King Kong and just absolutely tear face.
Either Space Godzilla. I'd actually really like to see Biollante as well.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion.
I don't think Godzilla now should try to be like some Shakespeare shit. I think Godzilla should just try to be good popcorn, like
Where art thou, King Kong? Where art thou?
yeah, like I just want like if it's gotta be like every 2 years I get a Godzilla movie, but I can see like all these cool monsters he fights, but like obviously in the high definition that is the modern world of film, like I want it. Like give me it. Like I'm here for it.
King Ghidorah, where does your yon window break?
Yeah.
That would actually be super entertaining to have all of the monsters be like hyper English gentlemen,
Super intellectual.
super intellectual, but still beating the shit out of each other. I love to watch that.
Yeah, I just want Kong to do a rock bottom on Godzilla. Like that's all I want. Like
Yeah, and then Godzilla comes in to drop the leg on him. He gives him the old the atomic leg drop. I just feel like these movies should embrace what they are and what we all expect them to be. Absolute mind-numbing madness.
yeah,
I want.
but done in high definition.
In HQ and maybe chill out with like children putting Godzilla to sleep or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Whatever cracked out 80s fantasy you want.
I'm
I'm serious about that. Go ahead, look it up.
Go on.
All right, all right, guys. So that's gonna bring us to the end of the episode. We're up on time right now. But yeah, great topics. For all the fans that are watching, thank you for tuning in. Make sure to leave a comment on what you guys want to hear about the next episode. Guys, you're outro.
Like for doggo, ignore for habanero.
See you guys next time.
Comment to be part of my waddle. Bye, guys.